Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and this Jurassic James Explains, looking at Siamosaurus. So you might find yourself going to, usually I think Target or Walmart or online, and you'll run across this weirdo looking here, and here it is. So first and foremost, the background story. In 1983, a French Thai combined scientific team discovered a lot of teeth. Now I have here a Siamosaurus tooth. I'm lying to you. This is a Spinosaurus tooth, but it's the closest thing I had to look like an actual Siamosaurus tooth. Although I will tell you, if you go on eBay, I saw at the time of the filming of this, on eBay there's a Siamosaurus tooth for sale. It's sitting in a matrix. It looks just like a Spinosaurus, like Egypt, Morocco, I mean. And the rock it's sitting on looks like it's been glued onto it, in my opinion. Not an official diagnosis. Anyway, the point is, Spinosaurus teeth are very common. This guy was named for 5 teeth found in Thailand. They say, wait a minute, why the name Siamosaurus? Great question. That is the historical name of Thailand. So basically, Siam is a Sanskrit word, and of course, Saurus is Greek for lizard or reptile, and it refers to a certain part of the area in Siam. In 1939, the name was changed to Thailand, so it's from Thailand today, because because Siam refers to like a darker skinned people from a certain area, and Thailand's like encompassing everybody in the area. So yeah, that's where the name comes from. Again, geography, super important. Now, looking at the figure itself, normally I have other animals, other models of the same species. As far as I know, this is the only Siamosaurus model in the Western Hemisphere that you can buy. I'm pretty sure you can buy them in, like somewhere in the Asian market, but I looked before I did the video to make sure I didn't have there any out there. There are none. Whereas the other Spinosaurs, we have comparisons, basically. Now, that being said, looking at the animal itself, there are paleontologists who think it's kind of like Quimisaurus last week. They think it shouldn't be its own genus. There's some debate whether it's a different Spinosaurid. There's a lot in common with Baryonyx, for example, in England. So there's a whole thing there. But in the meantime, we're going to open this video, open this model, which isn't that hard. All you do is take your official dinosaur opening scissors, and then you cut for safety's sake. Put them away. That's it. That's it. There's the box. Exciting. Now, for the model itself, you tighten the head. It does this. You push here. It does that. Now, as far as the skeleton is known, there are the actual holotype for it are the teeth, right? There are other fossils that have been attributed to this animal, but not officially. But some it depends on which paleontologist you're talking to. There were some vertebrae found from the neck and the cervical vertebra in the neck and the dorsal, which is the back. And they found a neural spine, a part that sticks up, that's up to 60 centimeters or 24 inches. So about 2 feet basically tall. So it does have if it is the same animal, it does have a sail. There are arguments that there could be 2 Spinosaurus species in the area, but regardless of anything, Siamosaurus is the first Spinosaurus found in Asia, so it kind of breaks the rules there. When I first, looking at it overall, like, the legs are a major thing, but overall, oh, the hands too, huh? I just realized that. Well, okay, on point. First of all, the first thing that strikes me looking at this model is the legs are short, and that is something we see, of course, and thanks to research by Dr. Nisam Abram on Spinosaurus itself. So, as far as that look goes, it's found in early Cretaceous fossil. The Siamosaurus is found in early Cretaceous sediment, which puts it at the same, well, around the same times as the cousins, Baryonyx, and like say Neovenator, for example. Oh, no, don't fall. That's very upsetting. So we expect to see these guys with long hind legs because the Spinosaurus family, I mentioned this in some of the other reviews, they seem to be evolving towards a more aquatic lifestyle. This is based on the diet, which is based on the bones. Like, their bone has different oxygen levels than other theropod dinosaurs. Their bones have different, the diets of piscivores are eating fish, right? So we're seeing that they're kind of on land, and by the time you get to Spinosaurus itself, it has these shorter legs, so it's evolving towards that. It's almost like how we have bears today, like the brown bear, black bear. They can swim, but they're mainly, they're terrestrial. But polar bears are really more living in the ice, in the water. They're evolving towards that lifestyle, right? So for it to have such short legs, that sticks out to me because that's something we would expect to see in the latest Cretaceous or late Cretaceous, like Spinosaurus. Again, what I'm saying right now is not a published theory or anything. I'm just looking at that and saying this is what stuck out to me the most when I saw that toy. I'm like, this guy has these short legs, he's walking on all four. It's like an end stage Spinosaurus. I say end stage, not that they were done. It's just when Spinosaurus went extinct, it was the last of its kind that we know of. So, other depictions I've seen of this animal, I mean, again, they found, I think, well, if it is the same animal, metacarpal bone, they found leg bone, hip bone. So, these things don't show for sure the leg's length, but the idea is it most likely would have had longer legs, like baryonyx, basically. And in fact, the teeth, a lot of the bones found remind the scientists of baryonyx. So that's kind of worth noting. I will point out too that when it was first named in 1983, they thought it was either a crocodile or an unusual theropod, which is saying a lot. They reviewed it again and said, "Oh, that's in 1986." They said, "No, it's a Spinosaur." Other bone teeth that have been attributed to it are thought to be pliosaurs. The point is, the teeth that are found with it are used to eat fish. We know that much from that alone. Primarily fish. So it's kind of they're still arguing a lot. There's a lot of information on this animal that are kind of debating back and forth. But regardless of anything, it is a Spinosaurid theropod, or the Cretaceous period. So there. You say, why is it so, confusing? And my example to you is when I was digging with the Black Hills, and I found a bone about this big, part of a bone, and I asked Mr. Larson what it was, and he said it's a dinosaur from the Morrison Formation. The bone I had wasn't enough to tell the pretty shape or anything, so he was like, I know for sure it's a Morrison, big and late Jurassic dinosaur. I'm like, was it a sauropod? There are sauropods around here. He goes, I know for sure it's a theropod. Sorry, it's a dinosaur from late Morrison Formation. So it's really hard to tell until you get it in the lab, clean it, and then compare it to other specimens. That's how it really works. It's not as easy as the Jurassic Park-esque, full complete skeleton. That's not as common, especially in bigger animals. It does happen in Liaoning, China, though. But one thing to point out this guy is that the short legs tell me that. Now, I mentioned the hands earlier. Looking at the hands, it has the 4 toes and 3 fingers. Oh, sorry, 4 toes and 4 fingers, right? The first thing I was thinking when I saw that is that most Spinosaurids have their hands like this, and they have a bigger claw here. In fact, baryonyx means having claws based on that large claw there. And for it to have essentially an alligator's or a crocodile's hands and feet, that's giving the toy designers super credit. That is their attempt to show convergent evolution between Spinosaurs and crocodiles. Crocodiles are a different branch of Archosaur reptile. They're not dinosaurs at all. They are cousins. And for this guy to have that, they're probably hinting at that. But most likely they didn't know anything. They kind of said, hey, this is like a crocodile. But, and even then, maybe it would have this look. But when you see Spinosaurs drawn with 4 legs, Spinosaurus, its hands still turn. See, theropods, usually their hands can't do this. They go like this. So maybe you can walk and rotate. But, crocodiles rotate like this. So that's a lot to debate for bones we don't have. So for that, I kind of give out like but we don't have it, so we don't know. But overall, it's almost as if they wanted to redo Spinosaurus, and they're like, here we go, Anyway, that being said, let's look at the comparison to its relatives. So what I've done today is I have a non-Jurassic World model. I know many of you like the Jurassic World figures too. I mean, especially the kids who watch. The adults usually don't. So I'm looking at this, and here is a Mojo, I think Hobby Lobby, baryonyx. There's the Jurassic World baryonyx. By comparison, this is I believe it's a safari, but there's many lights, safari, Suchomimus. And here's the Jurassic World Suchomimus. A fun video I did before was Irritator, and this one I believe is Collect A Irritator. So I have it there, and of course the Jurassic World Irritator. Yes, I know, you're very irritated, you're very loud. It fell over earlier, still mad about that. Of course we have the Papo Spinosaurus, a gift from Jim and Michelle Cotter, thank you guys. And then we have the Jurassic World Spinosaurus. And then here we have Ethiovenator, I believe it's Collect A. And then of course the new Jurassic World Ethiovenator. You'll never guess the video I'm reviewing next. And so you're seeing these guys here compared, comparing their more scientific models with the Jurassic World models. Much like the Belosaurs I mentioned last week, I'm surprised that the Mattel company is just making all these Spinosaurs. And what's even more impressive, or at least interesting, is that they're not just remolding the same one. They all seem to be made different. And I like that. This kind of, that they're trying to make a different animal. But this guy has no other example because this guy is highly debated and it's fragmented and we don't know much about it, so we can't make a full science model of it, at least, other than knowing that, I mean, to me, I would just, if I were making the toy, I would just make a smaller, like a Baryonyx, but like a sail, like a Spinosaurus, And that's kind of how the images you see online of this animal. So this one is a bit of a stretch. I would suggest that. But like I said, it's the first of its kind in the West. So appreciate it. It's a really cool little model. You push again, you push down there, it bites. You do that, so it's really ready to eat the fish in your Taiwanese prehistoric environment. And I think, like all Jurassic World figures, there is a DNA scanner thing for kids who need to play online too, with instead of the actual toy. And there it is. So this is Siamosaurus. Interesting animal. I'm looking forward to seeing more from this animal or less from this animal. We'll see. We'll see which way it goes. That being said, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.